everyone, it's DiabeticDanica, and today I have something very exciting for you. I was recently interviewed on a radio station, and so I thought that I would upload it on this channel so that you can hear it, because it was played in South Africa, so you probably didn't hear it unless you're from there. And they just asked me about diabetes and myself and my channel here on YouTube, and so I hope you guys enjoy it. And the radio station is Radio Laeveld, if I'm saying that right. Also, bonus points if you can figure out who one of the interviewers is, because you should be able to figure it out if you've been watching some of my videos. So if you figure out who it is, be sure to tell me in the comments below. That was a pedal that just flew by. And if you liked it, be sure to like this video afterwards and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.
Luisteraars, dis 'n voorreg om weer vanaand saam te kan kuier by Loop op die Water. Vanaand het ons natuurlik 'n wonderlike gas wat ons mee gesels hier in die ateljee en dis heerlik om na haar toe oor te skakel en ek sal dit graag oorgee vir Donald dat hy haar voorstel aan ons en presies waar sy vandaan kom. Goeienaand Donald.
Goeienaand en aan al die luisteraars.
Dis lekker om met jou te kuier weer vanaand.
Dit is so. En ons het 'n baie goeie gastante. En dit is wie
Danica?
Is dit nou so?
Ja.
Dit is wonderlik.
Danica is 21 jaar oud en sy woon waar?
In Amerika.
Danica, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Very well, and you?
I'm good, thank you.
Wonderful, and it is a privilege to speak to you tonight also because of your type 1 diabetes. Can you please tell us about your diabetes and how old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 11 years old. So I'm now 21, so I've had it for 10 years. And I now use an insulin pump to get my insulin, and I've used that for about 7 years. And in the past year, I've also gotten a continuous glucose monitor, which checks my blood sugar every 5 minutes, so that's been a really big help. And so I've been dealing with that for, 10 years.
You were 11. Now, what was your reaction when you were told, and how did you accept it?
When I was first told, I denied that I had diabetes because I thought that it was something that only older people got. And so I just remember thinking like, oh no, I don't have diabetes, that's wrong. And then when I realized that I did have diabetes, because I was in the hospital, I just felt really, really scared and really sad. I remember a lot of crying because I'd been really, really scared of needles pretty much my whole life. And as a diabetic, you use a lot of needles every single day, so that was a big shock. And I was also just very overwhelmed with the feelings of having to have it for the rest of your life because there's currently no cure. And so I remember thinking that that was a big thing, to know that I had a disease forever now. And I kind of dealt with it with a lot of help from my family. My family definitely was a big support for me. They helped me out the whole time, and they at first gave me my shots for me because I couldn't do it myself. And they just pretty much made sure that I was taken care of in all situations, made sure the school knew what was going on. And so that helped me out a lot at the beginning.
And apart from your family that helped you, was there anyone else or anything else that helped you cope?
Yeah, I also went to a lot of support groups, so I had some seminars that I would go to where I could meet other diabetic kids, and I went to diabetes camps. And then also, as I got older especially, I really relied on God to give me my strength. And there's a lot of unknowns in diabetes, a lot of high blood sugars and low blood sugars that come out of nowhere. And so it's nice to have that solid foundation in God who's always going to be there for you and always pick you up when you're down.
Now, Donald had a wonderful story about these needles. Story. And what age did you start to use the needles yourself, that your mom don't have to help you with that? Because Donald's mother, I think if I can remember quite right now, Donald, it was because she hurt you?
Yep, she nearly broke a needle off in my arm.
It's not good.
No. So how old were you when you started to do it yourself?
I think it took me like at least a year, maybe a little bit more. So I was probably like 12 or 13. And mine wasn't so much that my parents did it wrong or anything. I knew I had to do it eventually for myself. And I actually had to go to counseling for a little bit. I went to a diabetic counselor, actually, which was really helpful because she had diabetes too. And she, step by step, walked me through learning how to give a shot. Because it's really a mental block because, you don't want to hurt yourself. but at the same time, you have to. And so it's really hard to just take that plunge and literally put a needle through your skin. And so at first they just had my mom put needles around the house so I could just get used to them being around. And then I would do little steps of it on my own. So I would drop a little bit of insulin by myself, or I would do the part of pushing the insulin in. And then the last step was putting the actual needle in. And with each step that I accomplished, I got a prize. So I would go to this fun pizza place that had this jungle gym thing one time. And I got to redo my room when I gave my first shot. And so it was kind of like bribery, I guess, but not really. It's more like a reward system. So that really helped me.
Now I feel left out. I didn't get any of that.
It worked for me.
I had to get hurt before I did. That's unfair.
A little bit of an opposite approach. Maybe she did that on purpose.
I guess so. You now said about the diabetic counselor. Did that influence you to become... You said before that you wanted to be a diabetic educator. Did that influence you in any way?
Actually, no, not really. I didn't really see anybody doing diabetes education that made me want to do it. It was kind of... I feel like really from God, because I used to go to these Thursday morning prayers at my school where you could just go for the hour before class and pray, and they had worship music playing. And especially when I was trying to decide where to go to college, I would go to those and pray through my options. And I feel like one of the days I decided where I was going to go, and I decided that I wanted to be a diabetes educator, and it kind of came out of nowhere. So I'm guessing that was probably God putting that into my head.
And we all know, and I've said this before, and Hannah even went and checked literally every video. We all know that you make videos. What inspired you to make the video? Was it just for fun, or did you have a goal in mind for it?
Initially, it was really just for fun. I kind of just had been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I thought it looked like a fun thing to do. And I just one day, on a whim, decided to sit down and record one, and it ended up being really, really long, so I broke it up into 11 videos. But I really just wanted to talk about the misconceptions about diabetes, because a lot of people believe a lot of things that just aren't true about diabetes, and that really bothered me at the time. And so I kind of wanted to rant about it and get the word out that these things weren't true. And then it kind of just turned into more of an entertaining yet educational style of video. And I really like what it's become, definitely. It's fun to do a lot of different things and even do song parodies and all that. So it's kind of now developed into a test run for being a diabetes educator, I feel like, because a lot of what I do on the videos can be similar to what a diabetes educator would do. So it's been really cool that way to kind of have a tester, if you will, for what I want to do for my career.
Well done for that, but I like to get back to your age of 11. When the doctors told you that you're type 1, what went through your brain after they explained to you the type 1? And I like you to tell our listeners about the story that this one sister came to you and she used something. What was that explanation?
Yeah, I had a really, really good nurse who, right after I got to the hospital and they were putting an IV in my arm and all that, she distracted me by talking about what diabetes really was and what it meant. And she used kid terms, which was great, because she talked about a cell of your body being like a car, and the food that you eat is the gas for the car, and the insulin is a key to open the car. So without insulin, you don't have energy and you can't use the food that you eat. And I still remember that because it was such a good word picture, and it just stuck in my mind. And it helps kids, I think, when they can visualize it like that. So for us, she was really, really helpful too, because she just had a big smile on her face. She was very positive. And my mom still refers to her as like an angel. She wasn't really sure if she was real, just because she was so awesome about it and so relatable to us. So that really helped initially, since I just got to the hospital.
She does sound like an angel. But for now, kom ons luister na I Lift My Hands Up van Unspoken. En dit is natuurlik Danica se gunsteling liedjie I Lift My Hands van Unspoken. En luisteraars, onthou julle kan ook vir hierdie liedjie stem, want hierdie lied is natuurlik een van ons top 10 vir hierdie week.
But my next question is, did you, when you started your videos and stuff, did you feel you were going to be helping anyone as much as you did?
I definitely didn't, no. I thought it'd be more of like an entertaining type of thing. Like, I thought other diabetics would probably watch it and just kind of be able to relate to what I was saying, and, you know, we could bond over it, and that'd be great. But it's really turned into a lot of helping, which has been really cool, because I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, a lot of comments of people just saying that I've helped either change their attitude about diabetes or open their eyes to new treatments like the insulin pump. And so it's been really cool to kind of be that person that they look to for diabetes advice, and I can use all my experiences to kind of help other people and give them some hope. So it's been really awesome.
you just said that your videos basically grew so much and you show people different ways of taking care of themselves. And I have to, what do you say, tell the truth. Before, and we all know it here, that I'm struggling to get onto the insulin pump, and partly before that it was my own fault, because I said no, there's no way I'm going to have a thing attached to me all day and just not be normal, because now you have something that not most people have. But in one of your videos, and basically you're the one that changed my mind about it, is you once said it's something like a cell phone. Everyone carries one. And most people that aren't diabetic or that is diabetic have different ideas, like you have to be attached to it all day and you can't do sport, you can't do anything else. Is that true? How does it work?
That is not true. I think that was my biggest fear before I got the pump, that I would just get really tired of having something on me all the time. But you really do get used to it. Just like you said with the phone thing, like you don't really think about the fact that your phone is in your pocket or wherever it is. And that's kind of how the pump is. I just kind of forget it's on, usually. And I still played sports. I played basketball all throughout high school. And I played soccer and I did track. And I just kind of, you just find ways. There's little pouches that you can put around your waist to keep it safe. And you figure out how to use it. And to me, it's worth wearing all the time because it's, in my opinion, so much better than taking shots. It closer mimics what an actual pancreas would do. And so just because of the awesome control it's given me over my blood sugars, I think it's definitely worth it to wear it all the time. And even sleeping with it, I was worried that I would be so uncomfortable having something on me, but you just forget it's there. It just kind of hangs out by you and you just go on with your day.
It hangs out by you. I love that. Danica, what I would like to ask you about the YouTube is that you are now on YouTube actually a motivational speaker. And did you ever think that you would do something like this and that you can inspire people that they now know that I can live, although I'm a type 1 diabetes?
I didn't, no. I just kind of wanted to get my views out there and to kind of help people realize what was true about diabetes, and then it's turned into that, and that's been so cool because when you're helping people, it really helps yourself too. And even I've noticed that when you're talking about diabetes all the time and in the videos and all of that, it's on your mind more, and so you take care of it better. And so I realized that helping other people has helped me with my diabetes as well. So that was a really awesome bonus, and it's just been cool to see it grow and to see more people find it, and even non-diabetics watch, which I think is crazy. It's definitely turned into a really, really positive thing, and a lot of people told me that I was so positive about it, and I didn't really realize that I was just making videos. And so I think that's kind of become my thing, that I'm so positive about my diabetes, but it wasn't like on purpose. It was just how I am.
There's been a lot of people that told me once that you have to be serious about it. You can't make jokes about it. That is nice to hear, that you can be open and funny about it. You don't have to let it control you.
Right. Actually, negativity really affects me. Like, if someone's negative about something, it really gets under my skin and bothers me. And so even when I just read something online that's really, really negative about diabetes, I'm just kind of like, why would you write that? Because it's only going to make you feel worse about it. You already have this disease. You might as well take it and look at the good stuff and just do the best you can. So that's what I try to do.
It's like someone else or anybody else who do have cancer or any other sickness, Donald, that they told them, and then they know this is going to be for life. And then you're going to sit in a hole and you can't get out of it. That is where they can get the depro part in their lives. And you don't do that. You just want to live.
Yeah, it's not worth sulking about. Like, I could feel bad about diabetes my whole life, but that's a real waste of a life. And if you do take care of it, you can really do anything you want to do. Anything you set your mind to. It just takes a little bit of extra work to make sure that you're healthy to do that. But besides that, you're good to go. So it really doesn't have to ruin your life forever.
Now, you basically have become famous. More than the Hana.
I don't know about that.
Would you ever let that basically control you? Or, we know most famous people try to force others to believe what they want to believe. Would you let that control you, and would you want to force other people to believe the way that you believe and think about diabetes?
Well, yes, I am super famous. Just kidding. I don't think of myself as famous, really. I like to joke about that because I just hit like 4,000 subscribers. But really on YouTube, 4,000 is a very small amount. So I'd say I'm well known in the diabetes community, but I don't think I'm famous, and I don't know, I just can't think that I ever will be. But do you mean forcing my views, like religious beliefs, or my views about diabetes?
The diabetes. Would you say you're positive about it? Would you force other people basically to believe the way that you do? That it's not as bad if, say, someone just became diabetic and they say they believe it is like a death sentence. They are not going to make 10 years. Basically, would you force them to believe, hey, it's not as bad, you just have to work hard and all that?
Well, I would never force anybody to do anything, but I definitely try to convince them because, I don't know, I've lived with it for 10 years now, and I just know that when I was negative about it, it was so much worse and so much harder. And the work that you do every day seems like so much more when you're negative about it. But when you're positive about it, all the work that you do, it just is part of life, and it gets so much better. And so I think that's kind of the point of my videos even now, is just to show people that it's not the end of the world, and even if initially you're sad about it, and you can be sad about it initially, because that's part of grieving and all of that good stuff, but once you're past the new phase, I really think it's important to accept it. And as an educator, too, I'm going to try to tell people that and help them see that their life isn't over, because it's just really not. Like, that's just kind of a fact. I don't think it's really my belief. It's just true.
Danica, thank you so much for making time to speak to us and to tell our listeners it is actually wonderful to live although you are type 1 diabetes.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been awesome to do this.
Would you like to give like a last word to anyone that's listening now that is new to diabetes?
I usually just tell people that your life really does go on, because initially it does seem like you're never going to have fun again, you're never going to go out with your friends, or if you're younger, like have a sleepover even. And I just want people to know that over time, you are going to learn how to take care of it. And right now the doctors seem like they know so much, and they've got your back, and you're going to need them forever. But really, you're the one who's going to know your diabetes best over time, because everyone is different. And I just really encourage them to get to know their diabetes and how their body reacts to stuff, and never let it stop them from anything, because you can definitely do everything you want to do with diabetes.
So, Danica, we're going to love you and leave you now. Thank you so much for making time again, and may you have a wonderful rest tonight.
Thank you. Same to you. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And before we go, you have to greet the people and say goodbye in Afrikaans.
Just goodbye?
Just goodbye.
Tot ziens. Is that right?
That is correct.
Dit was ons onderhoud met Danica.
Wonderlike onderhoud, nee.
Dit was baie lekker, Donald, veral om ook met iemand te praat wat nie eers in ons eie land is nie, en dat sy ook met ons kon deel hoe dit vir haar gevoel het die eerste keer toe sy moes uitvind dat sy is ook 'n diabetes en dat dit ook tipe 1 is.
Ja, en om te dink, sy sit aan die ander kant van die wêreld en sy help almal, tot die wat oor see bly, wat hier bly.
Wonderlik.
En ek dink as enige iemand, al is jy nie met jou diabetes, of jy is al oud en maar jy wil nog steeds meer weet, of jy wil 'n video of twee kyk wat jou gaan inspireer, kan mens na haar YouTube video's gaan kyk, né?
Natuurlik, en haar YouTube adres is?
Jy tik net in DiabeticDanica en dan gaan jy al haar video's sien, né?
Wonderlik, Donald, en natuurlik moet ons ook vir al die luisteraars sê, baie dankie vir die wat ook al vir jou en vir Sharnay Venter gehelp het, en elke persoon, al was dit 10 sent, baie dankie daarvoor.
En ons kan seker nou die kat uit die mou laat, né?
Gaan groot, Donald, vertel ons.
Eerstens, sê ons dankie aan die Uwe wat gehelp het met ons fonds, né? En dan sê ons almal wat deelgeneem het in ons fondsie, wat vir ons 'n geldjie of 2 gegee het. En dan sê ek dankie aan Danica, wat vir ons ook gehelp het van die oorsee se kant af. En dan is dit Dr. Attie en Natalie, wat vir ons dit begin het. Ons almal se Hanna, ek los die beste vir laaste.
En dit is?
Dis kom ek die Here laaste gesê het.
Natuurlik Donald, ek stem saam met jou. Die Here kry al die eer van ons harte vanaand. Ons is so dankbaar. Hoekom? Want wat het gebeur?
Ons het nog nie eens gesê nie. Goeieste.
Nee.
Dit is omdat ek en Shanae volgende week petrolstasies gaan wees met ons eie pompe.
Yay! So die fonds is voltooi, 50,000 in.
Hy is klaar.
Yay, dis fantasties, dis wonderlik. So alles is nou reg.
Alles is reg, so volgende week begin ons, dan kan ons hoe sê hulle in Engels, update hê en vir almal sê hoe gaan dit met die pomp.
Maar julle gaan nou opgaan na Johannesburg toe vir
Nee.
dit? Nee, dit word hier gedoen.
Dit word hier gedoen.
Wonderlik, ons kan nie wag saam met julle nie. Ons is so dankbaar, maar ons harte is absoluut laag voor die Here van blydskap, Donald.
Ek sê dankie. En nou gaan ek baie beter voel en nie meer so lelik wees met almal nie. Hoopelik.
Donald, kom ons vertrou die Here daarvoor. Daarmee groet ek nou ook om te sê baie dankie dat julle saam met ons gekuier het vanaand. Dit was heerlik.
En dan van my, myself en ekke doodles.
Okay, bye.